it's safe to say that many people would admit that their guilty pleasure is enjoying wrestling. The campy storylines, heroes and villains, and high-flying acrobatics are certainly a spectacle to behold. But what would happen if you took all of that and mashed it together with an old-school RPG like, say, Final Fantasy? You would get Wrestlequest. Wrestlequest is a very unique concept dressed with an outstanding pixel art style. It is set in a world obsessed with wrestling and follows Randy Sanchez along with others as he works his way towards superstardom in wrestling while facing moral decisions, training newbies, and making friends along the way. It's a surprisingly wholesome story similar to Ted Lasso, and it's hard not to get attached to your ragtag group of misfits you pick up along the way. While it's certainly a wrestling game clearly made with love by wrestling fans, Wrestlequest is an old-school RPG first and foremost. It's this unique combo that may be off-putting to some, as it does have the old-school RPG tropes, for better or for worse. The pacing is slow to start and new mechanics are introduced hours into the game, and sometimes the story bounces back and forth between Randy and a Bret the Hitman Hart style character Logan. Sometimes you will fight your way up to a conclusion of a chapter only to have the story flick to other characters you follow. While these may be grating to some, I really love the characters' story due to their well-written personalities and styles. Combat is definitely the highlight of Wrestlequest, but will prove to be the most divisive due to its reliance on Quicktime events. Special moves and retaliatory attacks require Quicktime events to counter or deal bonus damage. Now, while I generally dislike Quicktime events in games, I wasn't bothered by them in Wrestlequest as I felt like I was actually landing counter kicks or heavy attacks. It could get frustrating at times due to my lack of skill, but by the end of my session I was wrestling with the best of them. There's no real grinding in Wrestlequest, which I found to be odd. Enemies don't respawn, so ensuring you're strong enough means taking on as many enemies as you cross pathways to level up. It keeps the game challenging, although I remember learning this the hard way when I tackled my first boss, a giant junkyard rat. Defeated enemies drop items that help you power up your characters further, as well as recovery items for your moves and HP. Items that improve stats are presented as toy parts to help you modify your character. You can also set party roles for different stats and bonuses during combat. There's a significant amount of customization in Wrestlequest, which all adds to the fun and experimentation of the game. The art style is really well done, with fantastic characters that are full of life and personality. Animations are smooth and damage and spell effects work really well within the context of the game. Healing moves are done by slapping a comically large band-aid on characters, and crowd control specials like giving the enemy detention when teamed up with a school teacher Barbie, but not a Barbie for trademark purposes, made me laugh. There are triple threat tag team moves, managers that can be used as special stat modifiers, and you can also use powerful summons to help you in your journey to the top. You can also customize your entrance for stat modifiers as well on sanctioned matches, allowing extra fireworks and flair. There's a hype meter during fights that grant bonuses or penalties, which switches strategies up depending on how your match is going. There's a morality system at play as well, facing Sanchez with decisions you make along the way, which will see him become a face, good guy, or a heel, bad guy. It was a great addition to the game, and on my playthrough I tried to be as good as possible to fit in what I believe is the wholesome nature of Sanchez himself, who is a Macho Man fan. There's also an insult mechanic pre-match, allowing you to build up hype before your sanctioned matches, and there are other gameplay mechanics which are a once-off, which are introduced only to never be seen again. It's clear that Wrestlequest is a heartfelt tribute to the larger-than-life Macho Man, classic 80s WWE, and SNES era RPGs. If you like any of these three things, you'll be sure to enjoy the wonderfully crafted world on display here. Much like a real wrestling match, there are highs and lows, but Wrestlequest ultimately kicks out of the 3 count to rise like the cream that Macho Man talks about. It's surprisingly wholesome, fun, and had me smiling throughout my adventure. Macho Man was once quoted in an interview by saying, "What a great way to see all our legacies live on, through the video games." Wrestlequest honours that legacy, with a heartfelt tribute to the man himself, and by hopefully introducing a new generation to this larger-than-life era of entertainment. So, what's it like? Wrestlequest is a combination between the 80s era of WWE and Final Fantasy. I award it an 82 out of 100.